see that Vice President of the European Parliament, Pavel TELIČKA, is there. Pavel, I'm interested to say a few words. I give you the floor.
Thank you, Chair, dear Gérard, but especially thank you, Maryam Rajavi, for giving me this opportunity. In fact, it is a privilege. May I start by saying that some of our countries are lucky. I come from one of the lucky countries, but Iran is also lucky. Countries that have personalities that are a synonym of human rights respect, whether it's you in Iran or Václav Havel in my country. I mean, these are people that help to make history, and I would share the dream of colleague Fotyga if one day, whether with me inside the parliament or without, we could see you in person or at least on TV monitors as Iranian president delivering a speech in the plenary of the European Parliament. May I start by saying that to Iranian fans, that it is not usual that in gatherings like this, we would see something that you may consider a limited number of MEPs, but such a number of members of the European Parliament. Bearing in mind that we have multiple meetings basically going in parallel. So as a person that is devoted to human rights and that is very keen on supporting opposition dissidents in a number of countries, in Latin America, Cuba is definitely one of those close to my heart. I must say that it is very rare that that many members of European Parliament would come together like that. Not that they wouldn't like you to, but because time doesn't allow. That just confirms, I think, the recognition of the issue that is debated today, but also the support that you personally and also all Iranian people have. Now, may I just say a few personal remarks? And I'll start by something that explicitly or implicitly has been mentioned. I mean, the European Union is really an extraordinary project, combined of countries which have a great record and footprint in democracy and also respect for human rights. But I need to say that I do agree with some of my colleagues that in recent years we were somewhat soft, if not selling out sometimes on our values, on our principles, and we were making compromises that we should not be making. And in fact, that conditionality that we have always had in bilateral agreements or in political dialogues somehow is not any longer as present and as strong as it should be. So I'm glad that this event hopefully is one of those that will reconfirm the voice and the demand for getting stronger in the framework of what the common foreign and security policy of the European Union and also its line on human rights is and especially should be in the future. Colleagues have referred to the fact that nothing really is changing in Iran. While we do hear from time to time statements which sort of try to cheat us or fool us and indicate that that is the case, that things are evolving for the better. Well, I see a few things which are a positive sign, and that is strong opposition leadership, resistance of the Iranian people. I mean, sometimes I can feel, you know, the very modern nature that you can even get from the screens or from talking and meeting Iranian people. I mean, this is such a mismatch between the Iranian people and the current regime, the current fundamentalists that rule Iran. I can hardly see such a mismatch in other countries. So this is in fact a sort of a punch that the Iranian regime is throwing at the European Union at a time when there is a delegation, and I leave aside whether it should be or not and whether it was or was not representing us MEPs, the point has been made. But at that time, if 18 people are being on very doubtful charges executed, That is a punch. And we don't understand that. That is a punch that we are punching ourselves with as well. So in fact, we are co-responsible. And we are co-responsible also for the attitude that the Iranian regime has towards the European Union. And I think that we should stop fooling ourselves. Madam Rajavi, Chair, I think that I would be repeating just only a lot that has been said. What I'm really encouraged is that I feel a strong determination among us here. I must say, and this is no surprise to you, that unfortunately this determination and this recognition is not as strong throughout the whole European Parliament, but that's also a part of democracy, whether we like it or not. But I think that for us it is a challenge. I'm also glad that in the presidency of the European Parliament we do attach significant importance to human rights. I mean, we had that always in a portfolio of one of the vice presidents, and in fact our colleague from my group, Alexander Lambsdorff, has left because he's been elected to Bundestag, and the president will next week announce some maybe reshuffle of competencies. I would have a humble reason to believe that my engagement will be even not only stronger but formalized from next presidency meeting on. I can't say more, but from that position and hopefully with that confirmation, I will definitely be at hand to colleagues that deal with Iran on a more daily basis. But for me, it is probably a challenge to put also Iran more strongly on my radar screen on human rights than I have managed so far. It's not that I wouldn't want to, but there are limits that a human sometimes does have. So I do see today's meeting as a challenge, that I pick up that challenge and support colleagues that are involved on a daily basis. Madam Rajavi, I wish you the very best, as well as your people that you truly represent, unlike the fundamentalists that are today in power. And I think that we will just give it another strive and another drive. I'm afraid that I'm also one of the MEPs that has to leave now because I have a shadows. So we have a file on a sensitive aviation issue now going on in the Parliament. But so once again, please excuse me, and I wish you the very best. And hopefully, if not as a president, but soon enough, we'll have the opportunity to meet on human rights and on the situation in Iran, and in a broader sense than just in quotation marks, those that have been executed, including the minors that were not 18 at the time of the offense, but human rights as such, which are much broader and much deeper in their meaning. Thank you.